welcome to Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Time check right now is 7:41 a.m. This is the part where we get to look through the major trending stories on the front pages of our papers. And it's promises to be an interesting time, by the way. All right, so we'll run this up until 8:30. We'll take a commercial break by 8:30 and we're back by 8:40 for Mainland Focus. And that's the part where you get to be a part of the conversation, okay? Today being Friday, Mainland Focus will come to an end at about 9:30, all right, as against 9:45, which is Mondays through Thursdays. My name is Omobola Sandra. I will not be doing this alone. I have Fuhad Sahid on standby via the phone line to give in-depth analysis to the stories that we will be looking through this morning. Today is Friday. Thank God it's Friday, and well, I hope that we're trying one way or the other. We're doing our best to take care of ourselves. We're looking out for each other. If you have in surplus, if you have in excess, it will go a long way if you can do something good, something kind to your neighbor. And more importantly, cholera has not gone, so please let's pay attention to our environment. Let's pay attention to our sanitation. Let's pay attention to hygiene. Very, very important, and ensure that you cook your food at very, very good temperature, high temperature, and to ensure that whatever it is that may be left in it is totally killed off. So please, let's pay attention to our health. Very, very important. It is ridiculously expensive at this time to pay out of pocket for our health care. Trust me, prevention is better than cure, especially at this time in this country where a lot of things are just way above the reach, or way beyond the reach of the average Nigerian. So it's easier, it's cheaper. All right, it's easier, it's cheaper, and it's so much more much of a relief if you take care of yourself. Just ensure that you pay attention to your health. As they say, health is wealth. Alright, well, quite a lot has been going on in recent times as regards the state of the nation. More recently, the conversation around the presidential jet, the seizure of the presidential jet from French court has been going around. We're going to be digging deeper into that today on the show, because there's been a lot of misinformation around that particular story. So we'll look at that. I think it's also on the front pages of some papers this morning. That's the Punch, as well as the customs story. Import duties is supposed to start, I think, today or next week or thereabout, and it's supposed to end December 2024, December 31st, 2024. So people who are out there who are into the commodities that have been listed as those that would enjoy import waiver, well, I don't know. I think you're in for a rude shock by the time you dig deeper into the bureaucracy that comes with you enjoying that particular incentive. We're also going to be looking deeper into that. More to come on Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. We're live on Facebook and YouTube, so as the show progresses, you can drop your comments in the live chat section, and we would read them by the time we move on to Mainland Focus. Good morning, Zaid Fuad. How are you doing? I'm well, thank you. Oh, I don't know. I'm so sorry. I can barely hear you, but don't matter why, it's not from you. I'm sorting it from my end here. All right. Yes, you sound very, very distant, but not to worry. It's been sorted here. So yes, I'm well, Fuad. How are you doing? Are you an importer? Are you an importer, exporter? Are you an agricultural person? Hey, yeah. When we get there, definitely. When we get there. Well, I mean, I'm trying. I tried so hard. I tried really hard for us to stay away from that presidential jet story, because it's just an embarrassment to us people of Ogun State, look at that. Look at what we have done. Look at what we have caused. It's just really unfortunate. But we'll get into the story. You're welcome, Said Fuad. Thank you for joining us this morning. All right, so let's get into the stories for today. We have here the Punch, the Guardian, and Vanguard newspaper in no particular order. So let's get into it. The major headline on the front page. Okay, well, look at that. All right, we may have to take a break at this time now. Fuad, I apologize, or just please be on standby. Thank you. All right, this is Mainland 98.3 FM. It's Trends in the Papers. We will be right back.
Attention everyone, this is an important message about cholera.
Cholera is a serious disease, but we can stop it together.
Remember to always drink clean, safe water. Boil or treat your water before drinking. Wash your hands with soap and clean water, especially before eating and after using the toilet.
Cook your food thoroughly and eat it while it is hot.
Keep your surroundings clean and dispose of waste properly. If you or anyone you know shows symptoms like severe diarrhea or vomiting, seek medical help immediately.
Together, we can beat cholera and keep our community healthy.
This message is brought to you by Mainland 98.3 FM, Lagos. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Open defecation in Nigeria perpetuates a cycle of poor health, environmental degradation, and undermines human dignity. With approximately 47 million people practicing open defecation nationwide, Nigeria ranks among the top countries globally with the highest number of individuals who lack access to proper sanitation facilities. The stats look grim. The overriding effect in itself can be terrible to our general well-being. In that light, we from Mainland 98.3 FM call on the government to increase its efforts in providing public toilets to end this scourge, and we also encourage the citizenry to imbibe proper hygiene and not defecate in public.
What about sunrise? What about rain? What about all that you said we were to gain?
Knowledge is power, information is key, and that is why we aim to unlock the doors of opinion, unveiling the stories that need to be told. Join Omobola Sandra and Sage Babalila in the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. as we invoke the thought-provoking discussion, tackle the tough questions, challenge assumption, and give a voice to the unheard. This is the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM. Morning Express. Good morning.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. It is still Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Trends in the Papers continues. Apologies, we have to just take that break to sort some things out. Apparently, Fuad wasn't going out. So we hope that it has been resolved. So let's get into it. Fuad?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Awesome. Yes, it's perfect now. Thank you very much to our amazing engineers working back end. Let's go on now to the front page of the Punch newspaper. The major headline there, Ogun FTZ deal. Chinese firm targets Nigeria assets in 8 countries. Zhongshan eyes assets in UK, US and others. Presidency vows to protect jets. Well, you know what's most interesting is not even what happened, in Ogun State, or the fact that Zhongshan is going all out on Nigeria for hard. It is the response of Bayo Onanuga to the whole shenanigans that's going on. Have you gone through it? I don't know.
Read it out for people to just read it out for people.
Well, before we get to
Yeah, all right, to what he said.
No, before we get to what,
but that's not the most important thing.
Anyways, no, but just that's just really, really interesting. So for those who are probably wondering what exactly happened, well, Zhongshan Fucheng is a Chinese firm that got a court injunction to ground 3 presidential jets belonging to the federal government in Europe, and they have initiated plans to seize other Nigerian assets that is in the UK, the US, and 6 other countries. As it is now, the company has instituted legal proceedings in about 8 jurisdictions globally regarding this particular dispute. Belgium, Canada, France, Singapore, British Virgin Islands, and all of that. But let's quickly go into what happened in 2001. No, 2001. Yes, in 2001, China and Nigeria signed a bilateral investment treaty that's aimed at promoting commercial investment between the 2 countries. So in 2007, Ogun State entered into a joint venture agreement with a Chinese company and another company to create the Ogun Guadong Free Trade Zone Company. So the Nigeria Export Processing Zones Authority, which is a federal government entity that oversees free trade zones in Nigeria, then delegated control and operations of that free trade zone to that company. Now, in 2010, the Ogun Guadong Free Trade Zone Company contracted with Zhongshan's parent company to develop an industrial park in that free trade zone. And the goal was to develop the park and build factories in it so that tenants can use it. Now, in the first half of 2016, this agreement was terminated. So the initial agreement apparently was done under the Gbenga Daniel, administration. So Uncle Bra Ibikule Amosun came in and then just terminated, wrongfully at that, that particular contract. So which has now led to, since then actually, it's not a recent filing. That's another thing for us to note. It's not a new filing. Since then, Zhongshan filed lawsuits in 2018 in Nigeria's federal and state court seeking reinstatement of contractual rights, but the legal proceedings was discontinued in spring of 2018. However, a French court has now recently authorized the seizure of 3 Nigeria's presidential jets, 2 a Dassault Falcon 7X and a Boeing 737, which are part of Nigeria's presidential air fleet that were recently put up for sale. And there's one that we bought that we've not even seen the inside. We've not removed the nylon. All right. So as it is now, Zhongshan has again dragged Ogun State to court, where an independent arbitral tribunal, which is chaired by the former president of the UK Supreme Court, has now awarded Zhongshan with $74.5 million compensation, which of course Ogun State is yet to pay. There's just been is a lot to wrap our head around it, because the court order has prohibited Nigeria from moving or selling these presidential jets until that money is paid by Ogun, which is a subnational. So look at that. Forward. Let's start with that.
Well, Sandra, a lot, like you said, to unwrap.
It's a lot.
A lot, really. A lot. I've read several, several write-ups, several explanations to what could have happened. And I think we're not new to things like this. Remember the PNID issue? Until somehow we're able to get out of that mess. That was also going to be a big national embarrassment to us, where some Nigerians had connived with some foreign nationals and companies to want to swindle the country. But eventually God saved us from that particular one. Now we have this, which I think is even more embarrassing.
Is a bigger embarrassment for that. We cannot touch our presidential jet as it is.
No, because again, we need to ask ourselves, what are the processes required for the award and the cancellation of contract?
Thank you.
It's very important. How do you award a contract, and then what are the things that could necessitate the cancellation of the contract, and what are the processes and procedures required for that to happen? Look, Sandra, if you check through, again, like you said, this was a contract that was initiated under Gbenga Daniel as governor, and then the people also came and then just reneged on that decision. Remember that
terminated it.
even the Dangote refinery, if you remember, was supposed to be situated in Ogun State as part of this free trade zone arrangement.
Yes.
And they were back and forth and back and forth. Maybe one day, Alhaji Aliko Dangote would eventually come up to tell the public why he changed his mind and moved the refinery to Lagos. But I remember that there were issues as to what the governor wanted or what was the agreement, what the interest was, and what have you. Look, we are here on this particular story talking about this embarrassment because somebody somewhere, number one, did not do the right thing. Number two, you're going to see the issue of vested interest in what we are talking about here. You know, because, look, Sandra, if something is put on the table that is supposed to benefit the state or benefit the country, and individuals in charge are more interested about their own personal gain, they are not going to pay attention to all of the details that are required. You are supposed to dot the I's, cross all T's before you even award any contract. But when individuals in awarding of some of these contracts have corruption in their heads, have vested interest in their mind, they are not going to pay attention to details, and we are going to get into situations like this. Now we have the, we have the NSA and the Attorney General saying they are going to institute a process to ensure we recover these assets that have been, withheld by this Chinese company. That's also going to take a lot of money, a lot of processes, a lot of effort that could have been avoided. Because we ask ourselves, how do you award a contract? Again, there's going to be question as to whether government is a continuum or whether it's just an ego thing. Oh, because this thing was not done under me.
What the company is even stating is that Nigeria violated the investment treaty with China in 5 ways. Let me count them. By failing to provide Zhongshan with a fair and equitable treatment, by engaging in unreasonable discrimination, by neglecting to protect Zhongshan, breaching the contract, and wrongfully expropriating investment without compensation.
That's what I'm saying. How do you award a contract? I'm sure at the point of awarding the contract, this company must have invested a lot of money.
Millions of dollars.
You have been invested into it.
Millions.
So at what point did you decide to cancel the contract? What necessitated the cancellation of the contract? That's what I'm saying.
What? This just reminds me, apologies to cut you off, but this just reminds me of our what's that, Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway and the demolition of properties on that road,
and the back and forth that the fact that we fail to follow due process. A lot of the property owners on that right of way, if they know what they are doing, they go to court, they're going to get good compensation from the court if they can push their case through. Because look at the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway, Sandra. For everything that was done, we refused to follow the due process. Procurement processes were violated. Due process for initiating such projects were violated.
That's just it.
You have the Minister of Works who kept defending the indefensible, embarrassing himself the more. So as long as we remain the people that are not ready to follow due process, as long as in everything we do, the first thing we put on the table is corruption and vested interest, we are going to be finding ourselves in this kind of embarrassment. Remember the Nigerian air tension. Do you know that if Ethiopia wanted to push the case on with us, we'd probably be in trouble with them?
Yeah.
Because a particular minister put us in that mess. I'm sure that there were contractual obligations that we had defaulted in with Ethiopia Air on that Nigeria Air project. Because at the end of the day, these guys are there, they go into the awards of this contract, putting their own interest, not the national interest or the interest of the state. If we dig deeper into this, we're going to see why we are in this mess.
All right, Fuad, now let's look at very quickly now, still on this particular story now. Bayo Onanuga, who is the special advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, on his X page is saying, and I quote, "The federal government is not under any contractual obligation with the company. The case in which Zhongshan tries to use every unorthodox means to strip our offshore assets is between the company and Ogun State government." What do you think about that? Say to your 10 soldier, please leave us out of this. Go and face Ogun State.
You should go and tell the court in Paris that gave the judgment. That's one. Because even if you read the story, there are also rules played by the federal government at that time. Because when it comes to free trade zone, there are also some rules that the federal government is supposed to play.
Yeah.
He better go and read. Look, the before we get, see, I feel that he's always very happy to just speak and make statements. It's about your non-uga. This is a company that has been following up with cases. It instituted cases against Nigeria in our own court.
16.
They were not making progress. They took it outside. So we need to ask ourselves, how did we get here? It's not just to come and begin to just try to defend everything. We need to tell ourselves the truth. Are we a process-driven people? Do we follow due process? Do we always do the right things when we are supposed to do the right thing? Is that what we are? Let's tell ourselves the truth. We know what we are as a people when it comes to processes and procedures. So again, we want to see how the NSA and the Attorney General are going to fight this out to recover our assets, because these guys are not just limiting it on the presidential desk. They are also going after some other assets. Because of course they are claiming that with their word and the calculation of the contract, we violated our rights. We put a lot of money into it. We have to be compensated. We can't just award contracts and cancel it with fiat. So it's again another embarrassing situation for the country. We shouldn't be finding ourselves in this situation. But when you have people who are extremely corrupt, who refuse to follow due process, who just want to do things anyhow, there are people that will come in and teach you how to do things properly, and that's what they are doing to us.
Well, also, the Ogun State government faulted the judicial process that led to the provisional attachment by the Judicial Court in Paris, and in a statement signed by the Special Advisor to Governor Dapo Abiodun on Media and Strategy, the state government described the latest development as the new antics by the Chinese company to appropriate Nigerian assets in foreign jurisdictions, as past efforts had continually failed. You know, this whole issue of any small inconvenience, they just tie it to the fact that, oh, you are trying to do something terrible to us, and look at us, oh, we are so helpless in this situation. But
can the state government explain why we awarded the contract and council? What were the issues with?
Or the fact that they started from Nigeria. They did not just go straight to a Paris court. This Chinese company, they started from federal and state courts here in Nigeria.
Trying to get redress.
But it was terminated in 2018. It was discontinued. Let me use the word discontinued.
You know our court process is now, Sandra. You know how cumbersome and frustrating it could be, really.
So this they should just forget their money and just go. Is that what they want them to do?
But the issue here is that, look, these assets have been seized for now until we sort them out, and until we pay that compensation. I'm sure
the assets. Apparently,
yes.
These jets are currently in France for routine maintenance.
I think about two different locations. I think one is in France. I think the other two are in Switzerland, somewhere in Switzerland. So the other Airbus 303 or something is a new one we bought that we have not even received.
It.
I think like you said.
Well, they have kick-started legal proceedings. Really embarrassing, really unfortunate. And also what's even much more embarrassing is trying to play some sort of, victim, I don't know how to put it now, shaming here, or yes.
What are they shaming? They're shaming themselves with Chinese guys.
With Mr. Bayononga saying that like the P&ID case, the previous first one, foreign companies are trying to defraud Nigeria with the collaboration of some bureaucrats.
Those foreign companies, it was our locals that collaborated with them now. So are we saying there's a collaboration from our locals on this one too? You should talk to that. Not really, you see, like the Yorubas will say, if the world don't have cars, the last visa will not come in. We open up ourselves to this ridicule. And they will teach us lessons. They will continue to teach us these lessons. We are just talking with the P&ID phone. Who says we are going to be lucky with this one?
Well, there's also a statement, on the page of the official page of the Ogun State government. Apparently, I just came across that now. Saying that I'm quoting exactly what I have here. We naturally regret any embarrassment this has caused the federal government, His Excellency President Bola Tinubu, GCFR, and the good people of Ogun State. We reaffirm our commitment to constantly and consistently protect the integrity of the nation and its assets. We have taken all necessary legal steps to ensure that this spurious and baseless order is vacated within the shortest possible time. As a sovereign nation whose assets are protected by laws of sovereign immunity, we vow to resist any attempts at blackmail and theatrics clearly designed to extort and embarrass our dear country. It is important to note that Ogun State never gave up on a reasonable settlement option. With the recent with the most recent letter sent to Zhongshan last week. Unfortunately, Zhongshan only responded after obtaining this latest order. A reasonable and objectively quantifiable settlement figure has always been...
so we're trying to settle them?
Yes, has always been our preference and continues to be an option in the resolution of this protracted dispute. And that's coming from Special Advisor on Media and Strategy to the Ogun State Governor, Honorable Kayode Akimade, on the official page.
Now, Father.
Yes.
How is this statement to that of
that's exactly how I was going. So look at Ogun State is trying to let's settle this. They
are actually accepting that yes, there are issues and there's a need to settle this guy. And then another guy is saying that no, these are just people who want to defraud the country.
It's alright. Well, there's quite a lot.
Must he always don't jump on everything?
You have to say something very important.
Well, it's not important to just say everything when you don't have anything to say now. It's not able to just keep quiet.
No. Please. Mr. Bayanoga say something.
You will know that these Chinese guys have a case. They started with your own court.
Yeah. Federal and state, they didn't get anything because in 2018 the cases were discontinued and they said they had to seek redress. They went up higher.
Of course, these guys are not going to give us, what we want. We'll go, to other places, and that's what they've done.
Millions of...
If we fail to do the right thing, there are people who come in to teach you how to do the right thing.
Millions of dollars expended. Apparently, that the free trade zone. Over 2,000 hectares. And there are parks and there are so many things that are built on that land already. And you can't imagine, of course, him expect Zhongshan to just give it away and say, okay, we dash you, Nigeria. Have a wonderful day. Let's move on.
I think about some years ago, I was at the free trade zone in Calabar, Tinapa thing. And Father, you weep for this nation. I remember when Donald Duke was the governor of Cross River State, how he projected the Tinapa thing, the free trade zone thing, I remember there were TV advertisements on it, how the thing was going to turn around the fortunes of the nation and Cross River State, blah, blah, blah. The last time I went there, Sandra, you know what they call a ghost town? Nothing. There was supposed to be a film village in the place, was supposed to be blah, 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 blah. See what investments have gone into that project? I'm talking of the Napa and the free trade zone thing. Go and check. Nothing is happening there now. A community project. And if you go and check why laudable ideas like this fail in Nigeria, at the bottom of it all, the underlying issue is always corruption and vested interest.
Yes.
That's always why they can fail.
I'm a little bit concerned, Fuad, if we're going to pay this off. As an Ogun State indigen, if we're going to pay...
If we are going to pay this money into your budget, so they should not cost the budget.
That's what I'm saying.
Ogun State allocation
our state
is your money,
unfortunately, we have to pay for it. So, Mr. from Ijoko, that is always calling for fixing... I'm so sorry. With the way this thing is, we may have to just let that road be like that. It's really unfortunate. But,
no bailout. There's no bailout anywhere for Ogun State. That's not your problem. We need our presidential jet back.
But you know,
something that we are still trying to sell.
We provide. No, you see, we have to support each other. It's a team.
Support what?
It's teamwork. We have to help.
No. I was not there when people were awarding a council contract without due process. So let the people of Ogun State sort it out. It's Ogun State matter.
We are all Nigerians.
No, on this one, no.
Alright, well, the story is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Ogun FTZ deal. Unfortunately, even a jet that we have not even seen, we paid for it, but we have not collected it.
The one that we are about to sell.
And the one we are about to sell. Look at that. Unfortunate. Anyways, the story is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. The Attorney General of the Federation has already, kick-started legal proceedings to ensure that whatever it is.
The NSA is also involved.
And the NSA, exactly, and the NSA as well. 8 different countries. Look at that, and they said that we are going to go all out on you people. Maybe people want to.
They should. They do that to protect our own interest. They can't just use our assets like that. But
all right.
They will each tell ourselves the truth.
All Okay. Also on the front page of the Punch newspaper, we have here CJN. NJC sends Tʀᴇɪᴅs Iṛ's name to Tinubu today. So, as Justice Olukayode Ariwola has attained the mandatory retirement age of 70.
I think this month.
Yes, this month, exactly. So, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, the name Justice Tʀᴇɪᴅs Iṛ will be submitted to the President today for affirmation. They said it's the highest. Yes, the highest justice. Yes. That's always on page 27. We also have here. We haven't heard the last of the Emefiele trials. The trials of Brother Emefiele. Just beside the masthead here. That's exactly where I got my phrase from. Court orders.
Look at the assets. I want you to take the assets one after the other.
$2.4 million. Lagos and Delta assets. That's what has been.
Look at what is listed in that story. As allegedly being attributed
of a CBN governor.
Acquired.
Look at that.
Just read out some of
it's quite a lot. There are properties in primary real estate in Lekki, Ikoyi. There's a large industrial complex under construction.
Give some addresses.
In Agbo, Delta State. I have here in Lekki Phase 1, Hakim Odumusu Street. There's a 2 fully detached duplex. We also have here there's a undeveloped land at Oyikon Abayomi in Ikoyi. There's a 4-bedroom duplex in Ikoyi as well, Probing Road, Ikoyi. There's an industrial complex on 22 plots in Agbo, Delta State. 8 apartments on Adekunle Lawal in Ikoyi. A full duplex on Bank Road, Ikoyi. There's also an interim forfeiture of 2 certificates of Queendom Global Fund Trust, which is a company that's allegedly linked to him. It's quite a lot. And the monies and properties in question are reasonably suspected to be proceeds of unlawful activities. And I urge the court to grant this application to further, prevent any dissipation.
I was hoping I would see something in Abulegba. He even goes to those areas.
Emefiele in Abulegba. What's going on here?
Why not Abulegba? What are you trying?
No.
Are you trying to diminish our reputation?
Oh, what if one day he tries to go and visit his location, and what happened to Stage happens to him? Anyways, so the court has ordered $2.4 million. Look at that for Lagos and Delta.
I'm sorry, the value of those properties cannot be $2.4 million.
Because there's an industrial complex that's still under construction.
I mean, look at those ones in Lagos. Those Ikoyi properties alone cannot be $2.4 million.
Two fully detached duplexes in Lekki Phase 1.
CBN governor. How did he get the money?
Well, there are bankers that own universities for it, so.
That's true.
Bank
executive also flying private jets around, man. Don't think that it was because Fẹ́mi was complaining recently.
Yes, I know. So,
some of these bank executives are running private jets to a tune of about $500 million.
That's the world we're living now. It's alright.
When he was said that if we don't kill corruption, kill us, this is exactly what you're saying. This is exactly CBN governor with all of these assets. Oh my God.
Well, the story is on page.
So, when it comes to real estate, I can put values on this. Can't be 2.5 million.
Of course.
What are you saying?
Of course. 22 plots of land in Agbo in Delta.
I don't know the value of plots in Agbo, but maybe Delta people will tell us. But those ones in the Korea,
all right. Well,
those are the ones they have discovered.
Thank you for that. The story is on page 15. Well, I mean, it's not this one. A lot has been discovered in recent months. Exactly, from Emefiele's very, very unfortunate challenge that he's going through at this time. We wish him all the best. The story is on page 15 of the Punch newspaper. There's also the story here, also on the front page of the Punch. Educationist files a 11 billion naira suit against Sanwo-Olu over school demolition. So apparently, a Lagos-based school owner, Pauline, and her husband have filed an $11 billion suit against the Lagos State Governor and 6 others before the Lagos State High Court for the alleged demolition of their school's landed property in the Iṛsᴛ area of the state. All right. Oh, that's quite unfortunate there. So anyways, the claimants have heard that the fifth respondent, which is Chronodexia Investment, and the sixth, meaning Kukarat, in a bid to frustrate the building plan approval and other regulatory permits, caused the third and fourth defendants to place a notice of contravention on the fence of the land, alleging non-ownership of the land by clients and non-approval. It's just a lot. The school has been demolished. Yes, it's just a lot of back and forth that's going on as regards that one. Above the masthead of the Punch, we have here, harvest season reduces food inflation to 39.5%. So we were on 40.3 or thereabouts. 40.6, yes, 40.6, and that has dropped. And it's not just food inflation. Apparently, headline inflation as well dropped for the first time in 19 months, which is heavily celebrated by Papa X, and as well as core inflation as well. Core inflation as well has also dropped.
And before you celebrate something, you must first ask yourself, where were we coming from? When this government took over, what was headline inflation? What was food inflation? Yes, they can celebrate these steps. These little wins, you understand, but again, you see, we need to tell ourselves the truth really, because the question now is how do we sustain this drop so that we don't get back to where we're coming from. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that should be, what the government should focus on. Yes, of course, if you have a government that has steadily failed to tame inflation, and then they have this little marginal drop, hopefully we understand that should come, even if it's just. But we now have to now sit back, tell ourselves the truth. How did we get to this situation? And how do we now ensure that we don't go back to the situation where the thing continues to rise? Because again, at the end of the day, it's about how sustainable we are able to, tame inflation, drop it a bit further, ensure food security. And then, of course, we need to take advantage of what we are able to create out of that. But again, it's about another guy. So I think anyway, you said it should collect his phone. I don't think anybody will be able to do that. But a good one from the government, and it's something to celebrate.
Yeah. Still on trends in the papers. On the front page of the Punch newspaper here on mainland 98.3 FM, we have here federal government eyes pension funds. Federal government eyes pension funds in $500 million bond issuance, and that's on page 21. This bond conversation has been going on for quite a while now. The story is on page 21 if you want to get more details on that. But I don't know, Fuad, don't you think maybe they should leave this pension fund alone?
Well, it's not, again, the government have been, of course, tapping into it, thinking about to get the fund active. Again, the conversation will be, okay, you can't just keep money there. There are things that can be done with the money, the time value of money and what have you. But again, there are still questions as to how these monies are being used, to the benefit of pensioners, what they earn at the end of retirement and what have you, and the entire pension structure. But again, the government needs money. They're looking for money. There's an aggressive revenue drive. Anything and everything that can afford and more the part of government they will do.
Yes, but what I'm a little bit concerned that this bond that they're trying to get is in dollars. Why is it in dollars? It's supposed to be a domestic bond.
I thought that we'll be taking ourselves away from this dollar conversation, but it keeps coming up.
Yes.
It keeps coming up, and the reason why it becomes more problematic, dollarizing everything we do, is that, look, as our currency continues to devalue against the dollar, whatever debt obligation you have continues to go up. Like somebody once told me, one of my lecturers was telling me that, look, all of these foreign loans we get are in dollars, and it becomes more problematic when you continue to devalue your currency continues to lose value, because if you are owing this amount of money, it goes up, it triples, it doubles. So it pays the lender to give you this money that are in dollars, basically in dollars, because they know you're going to run into trouble with it.
All right. Well, that story is on page 21 of the Punch newspaper. Finally, off the front page of the Punch, Mpox. That's monkeypox. Federal government tightens border surveillance as cases hit 39. I think that's also someone just mentioned right here on WhatsApp that we need to also put out some information as regards that one as well. That's monkeypox. Apparently, it's becoming it's fast becoming an epidemic as well. 20 minutes past 8, and you're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. This is Trends in the Papers. We're looking through major stories on the front pages of our papers, and on the front page of the Guardian now we have here rinse and repeat. Nigeria awaits Los Angeles Olympics after Paris 9 billion naira poor outing. So we are looking forward to LA 28.
LA 28. People that are going to LA 28, other serious countries are started planning it. Because the way they plan for the Olympics, yes.
And you know the minister just said it's time that he was constrained by time. That's why he couldn't prepare for the.
I can actually excuse the current minister, in all fairness. Although people have been questioning how we decided to put a farmer as sports minister, but when it comes to timing, it just came in.
The timing.
For you to have a fantastic showing at the Olympics, it's a 4-year plan. You know, we had the last one in Tokyo before this one, and they will tell you that athletes have a 4-year regime to plan to pick up a medal at the Olympics. But what we do is that afterwards we go back, nothing is done, and then maybe some few months with the games start doing all these foreign plans. We are not on field. It's not, we have the talent here. Another thing is ongoing. How do we discover the talent early at a very young age? We are the school sport. Nothing is happening. We just, the same thing, we just do things anyhow, hoping that miraculously we are going to do something is going to happen. There's no miracle anywhere with these things. You have to work hard. Like they always say, what is the definition of luck? It's preparedness means what? Opportunity means preparedness. That's when they say you are lucky. But here we just think that we will pray and it will happen. You pray, they said it's work and pray. Where is the work now? In fact, the work should be more than the prayer then. Because basically the prayer will just prepare you to achieving what you want to achieve, but you must have done the hard work. So we are going to Los Angeles now, we'll go and sit back. When it's on few months to the games, we'll start camping athletes. And then we think that we're going to do anything.
That's very interesting. Anyways, conflict administration, dearth of effective sports federation, failure to invest in athletes' development and prioritize the implementation of the national sports policy, failure to stop wholesale participation in all the sporting events and concentrate on those that the country has a comparative advantage in are part of the legion of demons that are afflicting the country's sports development. And the just concluded Olympic Games in Paris, France provided a spectacular opportunity for the country to show how it has failed to learn from past experiences. So apart from the outcome of the sporting ensemble making jest of the federal government's boost, I don't want to go into that, but then will Nigeria change its course as we prepare for LA 28? More details of that on pages 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper. 9 billion naira just gone. Well, we've wasted quite a whole lot more, so help us.
They saw our flag there now, and they are the opening and closing ceremony. That's all.
I mean, white and green was flown.
But it's not.
And the national anthem was also sung at some point.
So the new one, right?
Please, the new one for what?
But there was no podium finish. Maybe I don't know. I don't know at what point the game. But if you have your anthem at the Olympics, you have to have a podium finish.
I think there was some,
at the beginning of the game.
I think there was some sporting events that they didn't have so much people. At the beginning, there was one though. It was just a one-off situation.
So we spent 9 billion to have our assembly. Our anthem. That's so the tune of our anthem was the reason why we spent 9 billion.
It's okay.
No, sir. Obviously, if we start early, start now, go back to fixing the problem of school sports, grassroots sports development. Look, where are the sporting facilities around Sandra? Look at Anthony. Look at even Lagos. Where are the sporting facilities available for people to develop themselves, for the kids to develop themselves? That's the problem. We are not paying attention to these things. Even the ones we have, the sporting facilities we have, we can't even maintain them. Yes. Look at the National Stadium.
Thank you very much.
It's a person joint.
Yes. But there's the beautiful one that just opposite it too. It's very nice and very lovely.
Even the logo, no. Even the logo. Yeah, it's under renovation. At least it's better maintained.
It's very fine.
Than National Stadium.
It's alright.
When we say very fine, it's very fine.
It's a state complex now, so there's attention.
Well, I think it's better managed than
the national and
the national. I agree.
All right, 25 minutes past 8, and you are still on to Mainland 98.3 FM. We'll just take 2 more stories on the front page of the Guardian and move on to Vanguard. I have here Bauchi Emirates withdraws Senator's chieftaincy over alleged disrespect for governor, and that is on page 30 of the newspaper. So you can get the details there. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, but I just had to read that out. Maybe I was not getting it.
Let's move on.
Yes. So the Bauchi South Central District has been stripped of his chieftaincy title. Disrespected Governor Bala Mohammed.
Did he slap the governor?
I don't know, but he disrespected him. They've collected his chieftaincy.
They dethroned him for.
They've collected his chieftaincy. How dare you? Anyways, that's on page 30 of the Guardian newspaper. Finally, on the front page of the Guardian, falling food prices moderate inflation spike amid sustainability concerns, and that's on page 6. But Fuad, concerning food inflation, concerning initiatives that have been put up to fight inflation and whatnot. Let's quickly, just very quickly, look at the directive given by the presidential directive that import waiver
on food,
on certain staple items. Yes, and here we are now. What? Very long, unfortunate, tedious, and I don't know what else what other word to use. Procedure or neck-breaking guidelines from the NCS for you to even bring in the food.
That's the National Customs Service.
It's a very long one, but we'll just quickly see.
That's the part of the guidelines.
The guidelines part. So, as we all know, the president had approved the implementation of
July 15.
Yes. An exemption of VAT on some essential food items, and this was supposed to tackle the food inflation at this point now, and it was supposed to run up until December 2024, and it came into effect in July 15th. But now the according to the policy, the guidelines from NCS, which was of course signed by Abdullahi Maiwada, who is the National Public Relations Officer, saying that only companies that are incorporated in Nigeria that have been operational for at least 5 years, fully compliant with annual returns, taxes, and statutory payroll obligations over the past 5 years, are eligible to participate. Further requirements also states that companies that are importing maize, wheat, or beans must either be agricultural firms with enough farmland for cultivation, or they must have feed mills or agro-processing companies with an established.
But they can import anything.
And then importers of husked brown rice, grain, sorghum, or millet, they must own a milling plant with a capacity of at least 100 tons per day, and they must have been operational for at least 4 years. Additionally, the policy mandates that at least 75% of the imported items be sold through recognized commodity exchanges, with all transactions recorded and reported to the NCS. So it means that importers must keep detailed records of all related activities. And if you do not meet these obligations, you are required to pay VAT. Is this not counterproductive against?
It is more than counterproductive. And these are the things we keep saying, that it's only going to last for 6 months. So are they saying opening this up to anybody that has money to bring this thing in 6 months is going to cause chaos and crisis to local production? Because what they are now saying is that, we need to defend the country in terms of our local capacity to produce it. For 25 years of this democracy, what have we been able to do in terms of food security for the people? That a policy that is supposed to make it easy for people, that you intend to run for 6 months, you have not attached this kind of conditions to it. It's as good as saying people should not even bother with it. You know, necessarily the customs will be celebrating their revenue drive, how they'll be making money. They don't want to allow that thing to go. What they are simply saying is that you don't think about it. Yes, so it's a presidential directive, but these are the conditions. How do you expect me to meet up with these conditions?
No. It's true. According to reports coming in, it's restrictive, it's bureaucratic, and of course, it would impede the goal, which is to reduce food prices. So by the time you have only a small percentage of people who can afford to have all of these guidelines, and I don't know how many we're going to have.
Who are most likely going to be friends and people of these people who are making all of these things?
Class, exactly.
I'm telling you. So at the end of the day, do you see that the things that we thought was going to help? It's not going to help because look at this thing was initiated as far as July 15. This is August, almost 1 month after. Look at the conditions they are now attaching to it.
I would quote an commenter who read who typed that tariffs were meant to protect local production and not for the government to eat from. If local production has collapsed, tariffs must go for the benefit of the population. All they think about is revenue generation, which has a corrupt process. And there are also calls on the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale to come and step in, saying that how can customs be the one to determine what they want, especially as regards this particular one, claiming that the country is losing so much revenue due to free import duty. But this is a directive, just a short term.
All the revenues will be making. Sandra, how has more revenue for the country translated to better living for
Nigerians? Thank you very much.
Yes, revenue, fine. We've been making money. More money, more suffering for the people. Is that how to run the government?
We have run out of time now. Yes, very unfortunate. But thank you very much. We'll take a very short break. When we come back, we'll carry on the conversation with two focal points off the front pages of our papers for today. This is still Mainland 98.3 FM. Please stay tuned.